My name is Dwight Hutchison, and I'm the author of several books and articles about the Star of Bethlehem. And today we're going to be looking briefly at the subject of a star candidate, because certainly if one proposes a theory about the Star of Bethlehem, one needs to propose a candidate for that star. And this all goes back to the Jewish hope of a new world and a righteous king to rule over that world. And the Magi must have caught hold on at least a part of that vision in order to entertain any hope of going to find the Jewish Messianic king. I'll read just a few passages from the Bible about this. These are marvelous passages, things that most people would really delight to have happen to their country and to the world. So I'll just read a few passages. This is from the book of Jeremiah in the Old Testament, in the 23rd chapter. And God had sent his people into exile because they had been very sinful, even offering up their children as sacrifices to pagan gods, etc., etc., things that God would not have desired, the God of the Bible, that is, would not have desired, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But he says here that I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries where I have driven them, and bring them back to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them who will feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, nor shall they be lacking, says the Lord. Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, that I will raise up to David, David the king, that is, a branch of righteousness, one of his descendants. And a king shall reign and prosper, and execute judgment and righteousness in the earth. And in his days Judah will be saved, and Israel will dwell securely. Now this is his name by which he will be called, the Lord our righteousness. And then if you go on over to the 33rd chapter of the book of Jeremiah, this promise is repeated. There's a little addition which I find to be quite interesting, because it concerns shepherds. Again, the context of them being in exile and being called back, brought back to the land. And the land had been in desolation for many years. It had been destroyed. The people had been chased away. And it says, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, in this place which is desolate, without man and without beast, and in all its cities, there shall again be a dwelling place of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the lowland, in the cities of the south, in the land of Benjamin, in the places around Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, the flocks shall again pass under the hands of him who counts them," like a shepherd would count his sheep. He says this, the Lord, "Behold, the days are coming, says the Lord, I will perform that good thing which I have promised to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and at that time I will cause to grow up to David a branch of righteousness, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the earth. In those days Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell securely," or safely. "And this is the name by which she will be called, the city of Jerusalem, the Lord our righteousness." And he continues, and it's just lovely promises. But you see, this is the kind of thing that was motivating those men. I came into Damascus. And then a certain Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good testimony with all the Jews who dwelt there, came to me and stood and said to me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that same hour I looked at him, and then he said, The God of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will and see the just one, the righteous one. And so right there we see that this was the one that the early church, this man, Ananias, who was an early believer in Jesus, he was believing in the righteous one, the just one. And he knew that it was the just one that had sent him. If you read in Acts chapter 9, Paul speaks about how that Ananias had been led to go and to meet him there in Damascus. And but it was the righteous one that had sent him there to speak with Paul. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of our fathers, glorified his servant Jesus, whom you delivered up and denied in the presence of Pilate when he was determined to let him go. But you denied the Holy One and the just, the righteous one. Yeah. And asked for a murderer to be granted to you. And so right there in the preaching of the gospel in the days following the resurrection of Jesus, right there in the temple, after they had healed a man, they spoke of Jesus as the Holy One, the just, the righteous one, who had come, the righteous King. That's who they're speaking about. They're thinking about the Messianic hope, which was about this righteous King that would come and deliver Israel, come and transform the world, come and bring in a kingdom of righteousness. And it's a beautiful vision. Yeah. You should know that the star that I am proposing as the star of the righteous one is named Tzedek in Hebrew. And this name means righteousness. And that's just a lovely thing to think about. And we don't know all the details about why that this particular star, which is a planet, has something to do with righteousness in the minds of the Hebrews, in the minds of the Jews. But in one way or another, God worked in the past in order to make them think about that star as a star that it was associated with righteousness. The star in Babylonian terms was MUL.BABBAR, which means the white star. It was also seen as a star of the king, MUL.LUGAL, which is the word king in the Sumerian language, which the Babylonians had adopted for their cuneiform language. And Sharu was also the name in Akkadian, which the Aramaic speakers there would have been using. And so this is the name of the planet Jupiter, actually. And we're going to see in the coming portions, the coming videos, that this planet finds itself in unique and in some ways spectacular situations to declare the righteous one. And you know, in Babylonian thought, the planet was also associated with justice and righteousness as a righteous king. And they had their ideas about that. And there was another star in the constellation of Leo, which is a constellation which has historically been associated with kingship among the Babylonians, but also among the Jews, because the tribe of Judah, of course, was linked with Leo, this lion constellation, and so they were looking for this righteous king to come from David's line. David came from the tribe of Judah. Judah, it was linked with Leo, and you'll find the things about Judah in the 49th chapter of the book of Genesis there, where it speaks about that the scepter would go to Judah, to his line, and David, of course, is a king from the line of Judah. So I've described to you some of these things. Let me say just a few more words. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, there was another star which the Babylonians had named MUL.BABBAR, and that was the star Regulus, which has been known as the king star for ages and ages. Among the Babylonians, the idea of this being a king star go back many centuries, and there are even records of the Assyrian king, some of the Assyrian kings receiving correspondence from Babylonian magi, their astronomers, in the 600s BC and 700s BC, concerning signs having to do with this star MUL.BABBAR, Regulus, but it's the main one that the Babylonian magi, these astronomers, seem to be concerned about in their correspondence with the king. So in the theory that I'm proposing concerning the star, I believe that the wise men were familiar with the objects that I'm speaking about Jupiter and Regulus, of course. And those were the main stars that they attached kind of royal meaning to among all the stars in the heavens. And many Christians try to speak about Venus as being the Messiah star or possibly other things. But in Babylonian thought, at least, MUL.BABBAR and MUL.BABBAR, Regulus and Jupiter, were the main stars that they thought about as having some kind of royal connection. And the star is going to find itself in unique circumstances, unique symbolic circumstances, and that is why that at a certain period of time, the Babylonians would have been able to identify this as the Messiah star. And I believe that God has shaped this over hundreds and maybe even thousands of years so that he could get his message across, that certain stars had certain names. And at a certain moment, at a specific moment in time, God made things come together in order that his message concerning the birth of the Messiah could come across loud and clear. And that's what the Magi needed. They needed something that was very, very, very loud and clear. Otherwise, you're not going to abandon your home. You're not going to travel far, far away at great expense and with some personal danger. And you're not going to be able to go to Jerusalem and say with a great conviction, "Where is he that was born King of the Jews?" And so we'll be exploring this in the coming videos in great detail, all or several of the signs that the men saw. Hang with me. You're welcome to join us for more videos in the coming time. And please do like and follow. And we hope to really bring some light onto this subject. Yeah. God bless you.